Hi everyone and welcome to the HyperX OC Show Takeover Season 3 final, and we are right now in California, and this is gonna be the place where all the guys will be competing today for the last stage of the event. Yesterday was 2 stages. This competition is based on 3 stages. They will all be competing for 15,000 USD worth in cash prize right here. There's 10 contestants that did qualify. Actually, there's only 9 people here. 1 is missing due to family reasons. So, Splave, hi to you. We wish you could be here with us. Thank you guys for joining. If you're just joining us here from the Twitch page or directly from our Facebook fan page, I am Truthman. I am my real name is Isai. I will be casting for you guys today, as well with Legoft Albert that will be with us a little bit later on today, commenting on the scores, and we will be commenting on all the scores for the third stage at these HyperX OC Takeover competitions. Some of you guys were here with us yesterday. What we're gonna have today is basically the last stage. There's a fierce battle actually going on between Extreme Addict, that is the winner from the 2 previous season of the HyperX OC Takeover, and he's defending his title again for this one. Extreme Addict, he did actually won the first stage yesterday. That was the maximum memory frequency, and just to make sure that it was actually quite interesting to see for the scores. We have more information for you guys in a few minutes, as well. That the second stage was a fierce battle between Hassan, Lucky Noob, and Extreme Addict. Once again, the guy is always there, and we will see today if he can manage to tune in and make sure that everything is gonna be turning out well for him, and maybe go home with like 1500 USD in total price. This live show is made of. Hey Charles. This live show is although made of interaction with you guys, so we'll be having a live chat going on. You have League of, we have Obscure Paradox at the same time that will be commenting in there, moderating with you guys to make sure that everything is going all right. And if you have any question about what we'll be doing today, just go there, ask. You can also go on social medias. You can go on Facebook, our Facebook fan page at OverClocking-TV, or although on Twitter, ask us any question that you might have about overclocking, what this is, and basically that's going to be along the day. Going to be there, I think, for like a good 5 hours. A good 5 hours we will be there with you guys. Basically, what are we doing here? This is the HyperX Overclocking Takeover, HyperX OC Takeover. That's the Season 3, and this is the World Final. So after 4 months of qualification online, all the guys here are competing to win some good cash prize and go back home with some very good hardware as well. There's these guys here that can win something, but you guys as well can win something. We have a giveaway that was going on for the past day yesterday, and we will announce the winner at the end of this show today. So in the next 30 minutes for the opening show, we will be announcing who are the winners of the few giveaway that we had, and we already launched the new one. So you can go on overclocking-tv.com/raffle. The link is also posted on the live chat here on Twitch, so you can always go and participate in that one. And for you guys, you can also win the HyperX Predator PCI Express SSD 480 GB. You can win some memory kit, the HyperX Predator DDR4 3000 32 GB memory kits. Can win a USB Savage 250 gigabyte USB key. You can also win as well MSI Z170A Gaming Pro and some keyboard from Coolermaster. We will announce the winner of the giveaway from yesterday in the next few minutes. So what are the guys going to be doing today is basically making sure that they can reach the highest score in the third stage. Third stage is going to be based on 3D, and they will all be using the exact same system. So they will be exactly using the same PC, the same components. They all will be using HyperX memory, of course, DDR4 Predator memory. They will be using HyperX SSD, the same motherboard from MSI, the Z170A, Z170A Gaming Titanium Edition. That's quite a long name for a board. They will all although be using the GTX 780 Ti Lightning MOA edition for this one. For you guys that are asking what is overclocking, basically it's very easy. You take a computer and you make it go faster. That's how easy it gets. How you do it, there's a few settings you need to change. That's something that anyone can do. It is safe. It doesn't burn your hardware. It doesn't burn anything. So to do overclocking, you just change a few settings and then you're good to go. If you guys want to know more about the very basic overclocking, you can always go on our YouTube page or look for Scatterbencher, and there's a lot of how-to video for you guys. In less than 3 minutes, we just explain you guys how to get more FPS for free in your games. What will overclocking will make the difference for you guys? Game faster, game better. For us here, it's competitive overclocking. So what the guys are doing is they're just trying to reach the fastest score or the fastest system with the limitation. We can compare that to a race, a car race, for example. We have all the same specifications, so we have all the same hardware, like Formula One. They have the same specification for the engine and so on. And we can also have the same track we are competing on. And so that's what we call the benchmark. It's always exactly the same calculation process, and the faster you get, the more point you got. That's how it is. After that, in the ranking, they will just for the ranking, they just have to beat all the others. So here today we have 10 of the best overclocker in the world competing for $15,000 in cash prize. To make sure that these guys win, they have to be complete. They have to know how to overclock the CPU. They have to know how to overclock the memory and as well as the graphic cards for this special third stage. As I told you in the opening of the show, yesterday was the first day of these competitions. This competition is based out of 2 days, 3 stages, 10 contestants after 4 months of qualifier. Yesterday we had stage 1 that was actually won by Extreme Addict. He's the winner of the 2 previous editions of the HyperX OC Takeover, and he's on a good way to actually win this one again today. There is only Hassan and Lucky Noob that can catch up with him, and we'll be discussing a lot of this in today's show. I guess that we might have some video about that, about Extreme Addict talking about his score in stage 1. I think we can launch the video in the next few seconds. Hey guys, we're here with Extreme Addict. He won stage 1 and he won the last 2 HyperX OC takeovers, so he's competing today in these competitions for his title once again. XA, you won stage 1. How was it?
Well, to be honest, overclocking memories on liquid nitrogen for maximum frequencies a bit tricky on Skyrig platform. So it was like I scored 2,142.5 megahertz, and and the score was very easy to do, like very easy booting directly from BIOS, 2,127, and to get more, I had to get those 15 megahertz more, I had to spend like 1 hour more. So it was like first almost the top score I did like in 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, just booting straight from BIOS, and the last 15 minutes were like really big struggle.
There was a huge battle today. Later on in the show, we'll see the stage 3. What do you expect from that 3D stages?
Well, considering the ranking after both stages, it will be like tiebreaker.
Do you think you can win?
Magic can always happen.
Perfect. Well, good luck for the last stage, and hope you the best for the score. Welcome back, guys. This is the HyperX OC Takeover World Final here in California at the HyperX headquarters. You just saw Extreme Addict. He was the winner of the 2 previous editions of this very special competition from HyperX, and he's on a good way to win again today, but everything will be decided in the last stage that we will be commenting all day long for you guys here. This is an exclusive coverage that you can have from OverClocking-TV right here from the HyperX headquarters in California. Extreme Addict did won the previous one, but he also won the stage 1, as you can see. The second stage was based on the maximum score they could achieve in a benchmark called XTU, and that's a workload that is displaying a number of points, and it's heavily based on the memory tuning, because they were limiting to a certain frequency on the processor. So the best difference was to be the best memory overclocker and memory tweaker in that one. It was won by Hassan from Indonesia, and I think we have a video for you guys that how we was thinking about that yesterday, right after the end of the stage. Hey guys, I'm Truthman, and I'm here with Hassan that just won stage 2 of this HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final. You won stage 2?
Yes.
How do you feel?
Not bad. I'm happy because I think only just lucky because I'm setting on memory with basically memory very tight on sub timing, and then I just keep a temperature on memory and temperature on CPU. I just rerun, and then I getting good score. That's all. Yeah.
That was the last score to get in with the 2 points.
Yeah, the last minute. I think around 30 minutes before finish.
That was crazy. The last battle was insane. We just saw it on the live. There is one stage left. What do you have for tomorrow?
I don't know. Still waiting my luggage.
Oh yeah, that's true. His luggage still haven't arrived yet. So, well, let's say that. Wish you the best of luck for tomorrow.
I hope so.
And make sure to tune in as for the live here at the HyperX OC Takeover for Stage 3, the last one of the competition. Welcome back, guys. This is still the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final here in California at the HyperX headquarters. You just saw Hassan that won Stage 2, and we wanted to have another kind of video, especially with the most valuable overclocker from the day one. That overclocker is Lucky Noob, is from Indonesia, and he's been competing in all the major live overclocking competitions for the past 6 years. He's always performing great in there, but he actually never won any of them. He always usually finish in the top 5. And today is maybe his chance to finish first and finally get home with some cash. Lucky Noob Alva from Indonesia. This is the end of the first day. The 2 stages that were based on the CPU and memory are now over. That was a tight battle today.
Very. yeah. This is today. There is a very tight battle, and you see there's a lot of scores from a lot of overclockers, and you see in the XTU stage the point difference is like very little. So and also in the maximum memory clock is very, very exciting with a lot of submission. Yeah, we saw like Peter and Chris actually get a trouble to because everybody has like score submit and something like that. Yeah.
That was crazy. At the end of the first day, you were second in the overall ranking. How do you feel about that?
Well, to be totally honest, I just came here unprepared because I was preparing for GOC, and actually I didn't test the motherboard that much because the motherboard arrived just before I go to Wuhan. So I was like, okay, let's just try not to be the last place. And then apparently I was really nervous about the maximum memory clock stage because I saw everybody else submitting the memory clock is like 3866 or something on air. I was like, no, I cannot reach that kind of frequency. But apparently after the memory is put with liquid nitrogen and the memory is cold, and apparently it clocks quite well. So, well, I'm happy. Yeah.
Well, that's some decent score. There's one stage left. That's the 3D. Do you think you can stay in the top 3 or maybe beat Extrematic at his own game?
Well, actually, I would really like to, just try to beat Extrematic. Actually, I'm happy right now because, I'm pretty close. But you see, the point difference is quite a lot. You see, he was like 133, I think, and I was like 119. So basically, I need like 14 points, 15 actually, to beat him. 15 points to beat him. That for tomorrow, the points is like very little. It's only like 6. It start at 60 for top rank, and then start from there it's like 54, and the difference is about 6 or something. So if I want to beat XA, I have to beat him by 4 ranks, or sorry, 3 ranks.
3 ranks. Yeah.
So if I were first, he had to be 4th, and tomorrow is like 3D heavy. And 3D is like my biggest weakness. I think everybody else knows. So
And that's kind of like the game of XA.
yeah, that's like XA's game. I was like, okay, let's just try not to be the last place again. Yeah.
Well, maybe you're gonna take one of the top 3 spots, and we wish you that for you in the competition.
I hope. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day. Welcome back, guys. I'm Truthman, and we are here at the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final in California at the HyperX headquarters. These were the people that made the most impressive results in day 1, and today is day 2. That's the last day of these competitions, and that's when we will know exactly who is coming back home with 15,000 USD in cash prize. Before that, as the guys can win something, you guys as well can win something. And we did announce there was a giveaway running on for the past week, and we already have the winner for it. So let's get through it. So for the HyperX Predator PCI Express SSD 480 gigabyte, the winner is drumroll, Bradley Travino. We're gonna be contacting you anyway, all after this show. No worry about that. The second winner for the HyperX Predator DDR4 3000 32 gigabyte is Taylor Band. The winner of the HyperX Savage USB drive 250 gigabyte is Connie Punton. And the winner of the motherboard, the MSI Z170A Gaming M7 motherboard, Franklin Samuel. And finally, the latest person to win something is Jamie Sweeter, that won a Cooler Master Traeger Z keyboard. But these were the people that won something from the giveaway ending yesterday. But for all of you guys here, we managed to have a second giveaway exclusively for you guys. And you can right now go and compete on overclocking-tv.com/raffle. And in this one, you can win a PCI Express SSD Predator 480 gigabytes, like the one we just gave away. You also have a memory kit, DDR4 Predator 3000 32 gigs. You always have the same USB key, Savage 250 gigs, a different motherboard, always from MSI Z170A Gaming Pro, and you also have a keyboard, Cooler Master Traeger Z. So get there and get into that giveaway. It will be running until the 23rd of December. That will be quite interesting for you guys to have some nice present for Christmas, I guess so. This sum up our opening show. We'll be catching you guys in the next few minutes from our casting booth, along with Legoff that will be in direct from Belgium for the commenting. And the overclockers right here behind me will be starting to overclock for stage 3. This is getting crazy. That will start in the next 5 minutes. Catch you in a bit. Welcome back, guys, to the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final here in California at the HyperX headquarters. I'm being joined with Mr. Ligoft from Belgium. Hey, Ligoft, how are you doing?
A little bit tired from yesterday, but we're holding up and looking forward to a, let's say, amazing final stage.
That will be quite amazing today, especially because of the tight battle between all of the guys here. Yesterday was actually quite insane. We had a slightly technical issue right here at the headquarters at HyperX, and everything got fixed for you guys, so we'll be going on straight to the show. The overclockers already started the last round for about 10 minutes. So we're gonna jump straight to it. What they have to do is to reach the highest graphics score in 3D Mark Firestrike. This was the benchmark I was explaining a little bit before, and they're all using the same system. It's all featuring the HyperX memory as well as the HyperX SSD. They are using the GeForce GTX 780 Ti Lightning MOA edition. That's a special graphic card that these guys are using today. And as you can see, some of the guys are already competing in making sure that they can submit the best score. This is the last stage of the day. This is the last stage of the competitions, and this will define who will go back home with $15,000 US. Ligoft, you're our overclocking expert. You will be commenting along with me. So what will be the basic thing that we need to look for in this specific stage?
Yeah, it's let's say a bit off that we're using like only the graphics benchmark of Firestrike, because in Firestrike you have different segments. You have the graphics part, you have like a CPU part, and you also have a memory part and a combined part of all the components. And last year they did like, or even for the qualifier, they did like 3D Mark 11 physics, which is like heavily memory dependent, which is in fact what HyperX is all about. And today they chose like the graphics benchmark. So they're going, let's say, almost fully for the GTX 780 Ti Lightning cards. And the overclockers need to push the core there. Need to push the core and the memory on the GPU to get like the highest score.
Well, that's quite interesting to see as well, because yesterday in the first day they were using mostly the memory and the CPU power. Actually, to be honest, mostly the memory frequency and memory power for the two first stages. This one is based on 3D, so for an overclocker to win these competitions, they have to be both very good at 2D benchmark, so what that we call like the memory benchmark, the memory overclocking as well as CPU overclocking, but they although have to be good at 3D. So that's see, if you want to compare that to, let's say, car racing, it's like you can be on a Formula 1 track driving in a Formula 1, you have to be good there, but you although have to be good in maybe on a Formula 1 track, but using, I don't know, a bicycle that could be made this way. Ligoft, did you actually try some of this benchmark before? Do you really like this benchmark, the 3D Mark Firestrike?
I'm a bit more into the older legacy stuff where you like, especially 3D Mark 01, but you could like tweak like each different, let's say, stage in the benchmark. So you could run them over and over and over again and really tweak the hell out of it. And 3D Mark Firestrike is like a bit more like everything has to fall together, like into place. Good GPU clocks, good memory clocks, everything has to be working stable, backed up by a lot of CPU power, and then you get like good scores. And of course there's more to it than just the overclocking part of the hardware components. You also have to find the right settings in the driver, in the NVIDIA driver in this case. I'm not sure if they can use NVIDIA Inspector. I'm looking for
there was some discussion about it earlier today. We'll be talking a little bit more of that after the first break, because we need to check with the judges what is allowed or not.
Yeah, indeed, but it will be, I've checked like, let's say an old score of Extreme Addict. So it was on the previous Intel generation on the Haswell platform, and he was clocking the same 80 Ti card up to 1706 megahertz on the core. So in stock it's around 1000. So like pretty healthy overclock, pushing the memory on the graphics card as well up to 2000 megahertz. And he got like a score, so maybe we can take that one as a reference, around 18.5K. So let's see if maybe the Skylake platform can boost that score even more. We just have to wait and see what will give, because XA was running that score with 6000 megahertz on a Haswell on 47070K CPU. Now they're using Skylake CPUs, and we have experienced that with newer architecture, motherboards, memory, CPU, that we can boost like almost any 3D score. So let's see if we can get like some benefits of the new platform today.
And we will have all the time to speak about all the details at this specific stage. But before that, for all the people that just joined us, thank you for being here with us here on Overclocking TV. This is an exclusive show for you guys from the HyperX headquarters here in California. These are the top 10 overclockers, actually the top 9 overclockers competing for $15,000. The winner from last year is Extreme Addict, and they have 2 hours and 13 minutes left to compete against him and make sure it doesn't get to the top once again. League, before we go a little bit more in detail for the scores and so on, we could explain how do you do the VGA overclocking? So you were talking about different kind of frequencies earlier. What are the one we need to be careful when overclocking the graphic card?
Yeah, I think if you're like gamers, so we have some new viewers here on the Twitch channel as well. So overclocking your graphics card is probably the most beneficial, let's say, to increase your frames per second during gaming. Nowadays, let's say all mainboard and even GPU manufacturers include software. So we can just like move a slider to the right, increase maybe with 100 megahertz. They even allow you to change the GPU voltage a little bit. So it's all like within safe margins. The cards we're seeing today have been built specifically for overclocking. It's the Lightning series from MSI, and especially the card that they're using today is one from a few years back, GTX 780 Ti, Lightning MOA edition. You talked about yesterday about the MSI MOA competitions, which stopped, I think, sadly, 2 years ago, something like that.
For the live final, they still have it online, but they don't make the live final anymore.
And indeed, these cards are specifically built to do so. So there's also a tool called Afterburner. And for these Lightning cards, these special Lightning cards, they also have like an Afterburner Extreme, which allows way more voltage, way higher frequencies to be pushed through the cards. I haven't seen anybody using the special overclock panel, because normally these cards were bundled together with a special overclock panel where you could dial in, let's say, the frequencies, the voltages, just by pushing some buttons.
So some of the overclockers, I saw them were using that, but I don't know if that's the one they got or that their own personal one. For you guys that just tune in, this is overclocking. So the guys have to reach the fastest computer they can with the hardware they were given. Today is mostly focusing on graphic card overclocking, and this means they have to reach high frequency in GPU core and high frequency in a GPU memory. That's basically the two main frequencies we will be looking at, and this will give them some points in a benchmark, and these points in the benchmark will give them a rank on the leaderboard to make sure that they can actually win something out of the $15,000. What will be the performance improvement, League of in terms of overclocking? So we talk about the GPU core frequency, the GPU memory frequency. There's some other frequencies. Does the CPU impact on this? What the overclocker should do to get a better score?
Yeah, that's also the thing that I want to see today is like if we compared XA's old score on Haswell, so on the previous generation of Intel, it was pushing like 6000 megahertz on the CPU. It could be that they even match that score with maybe 500 megahertz less on the CPU, on the new Skylake CPUs. They're way more powerful. They have increased bandwidth, some architectural improvements as well, and it boosts everything in the benchmarks. Now, I'm looking at some scores already, and it seems like they're doing like a full run each time. And this is maybe something you can check, Truthman, with the judges. We only base the score, I think, on the graphics score. That's correct?
The stage is based on the graphics score, but I think they have to run the complete benchmark to have it.
Okay.
We will get the confirmation in about 40 minutes from the judges that are Peter and Christian Ney from H.O.T. That's actually the governing body about everything that need to be made for these kind of competitions. They are the only one that can validate the score if they're complete and real for this competition.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're seeing like is everybody is building up again, slowly but steadily. They have like over 2 hours left to do so. So you have to think the graphics card is cooled now by a huge GPU container made by Der Bauer, Kingpin. There are several manufacturers out there that produce like high-end gear to do this extreme overclocking on. And it's something like you have to do it slowly and steadily and just build up which frequency I can do at which temperature, how much voltage do I need to reach that specific clock. And of course it has to be stable. You can run like maybe half of Firestrike and it crashes. Then you have to determine, do I need more voltage? Do I need more cold? Do I need maybe both? So it's a bit, again, feeling what the hardware can do. And even though you said like they're using like all the same hardware components, okay, sometimes it's a little bit of silicon lottery involved. And that's something that we will see today. And of course, the overclocker has to be able to pull the max megahertz out of the hardware. And that's, of course, is the skill. And I find it really fun to do like older cards, like these cards, especially built for these. Not much soldering going on, just put the cards in, put the container on, cool it down, and just look for the frequencies.
Perfect. That would be a good information, and we'll be talking about all that in the show today, because that's the last stage of the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final here in California at the HyperX headquarters. And thank you guys that are just joining us. And I think it's a time to do something for you guys and be able to win something. So what we will do, we will just do a basic raffle. So you just go to the live chat and you type !raffle, !raffle, and we're gonna be giving away one HyperX t-shirt as well as one mouse from Cooler Master and one MSI Dragon plushie. So go on the live chat and it's raffle time. Dear Ligoft, we were talking about the few for frequency, and we know that some of the overclockers already push this exact same graphic card to the maximum 2 years ago at the MOA, the Master Overclocking Arena. That was the big competition, overclocking competition organized by MSI. So we will be able to compare some of their score from the past with the score that they have today. And right now on the screen you can see that is Afterburner. That's the tool they're using to change the voltages and the frequencies for that. For
yeah,
you
can see it. You can see it's like a pretty basic tool. It's not like there's a lot of unknown stuff. There's like a voltage slider for the GPU core. There's also a voltage slider which you have to untap for the memory. And that's it. And then you just raise the clocks, check if it's stable, cool it down, monitor the temperatures, check how much voltage there is, because there can always be like a small discrepancy between the voltages you set in Afterburner and the voltages that you read out with your digital multimeter. So you have to cross-check if you have voltage droop or drop or stuff like that, and just see how it works. But it's like I said, everybody is like on still, let's say, sort of safe clocks, 1500 megahertz, 1600 megahertz. We have seen some of these cards do 2000 megahertz, but I don't know if we were going to see that today. It's usually people bench at home, really have time. These guys are under time pressure. They only have like something more than 2 hours left to produce good scores, and they're not going to, let's say, push more and more. They want to have scores. It's a strategy, like we said yesterday. They want to push the core, but they also want scores. They want to validate and just see what the competition does.
That would be interesting to see that all day. And guys, if you're just joining us, go straight on the live chat here on Twitch and type !raffle to get in and win maybe some of the giveaway we will be doing today. Right now we are playing for a HyperX t-shirt, a MSI plushie dragon, and a Cooler Master Alcor mouse white edition. We will close the raffle in the next few minutes, but during that time, Mr. Ligoft, I don't want to talk about any scores yet. Who do you think can win these 3D stages? You need to give me at least 3% for that.
Ah, okay. So I put Extreme Addict, and Extreme Addict. No, it's like you saw the interview with Lucky Noob, and everybody knows Extreme Addict is like probably from all the guys here present, the most versatile overclocker. He can do CPU overclocking, he can do memory overclocking on LN2, and he can also master multiple GPUs on LN2. So this guy knows the tools of the trade, he knows the tricks, he knows how to handle it. Of course, it's still a technical sport, but I think all the guys will have a rough time beating Miha's scores, but he has proven it on several other competitions. Let's take, for example, the Aces over competition last year at Moscow, where he did like some great scores on a single GPU 980 Ti Strix card back then. Yeah, really good overclocker. And even though Alva is always like playing a little bit the pessimistic guy, like maybe I didn't want to finish last, but the guy is really motivated and he's day in, day out occupied with overclocking. Maybe not on liquid nitrogen, but always testing hardware, revising biases, stuff like that. So he knows the stuff as well, but we will see. If you want to make a lot of money today, you can't bet on XA because everybody is betting on XA. But
but he's the leader at this competition. He won the 2 previous season of this HyperX OC takeover right here. So that's gonna be it for the raffle. And you guys, by the time you hear that, that will already be closed. So as I was saying, we are playing for the first thing, that is the HyperX t-shirt for today. And we're gonna draw someone, and the winner is Shisha David. It would be nice if you could follow OverClocking-TV as well, especially when we give you some prizes in the raffle. So Shisha David, you just won yourself a t-shirt from HyperX. We will send you a message, private message, quite soon. The second one to win the Cooler Master Alcor Mouse White Edition. Let's draw someone, and that's Take Love. Congratulations for winning the Cooler Master Mouse for that. And the last one for the MSI Plushie Dragon is Agent K7. Congratulations, guys. We still have a lot of stuff to give away here on the live chat, so don't worry, stay tuned, and we will always have something for you guys. If you like what you're saying, or if you want to know more about overclocking, you can always join us on the live chat here on Twitch, but you can also find a lot of information on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/overclocking-TV. And we have something special, that some kind of video that we make. They're called Scatter Bencher, and we just posted a link on the live chat. These videos are explaining you how to gain free performances for your game in basically 3 minutes. You just change a few settings and you get free FPS performances upgrade. So that's gonna be good for you guys out there gaming and making sure that everything is fine. I would like to personally give a shout out to Obscure Paradox, one of the moderator that is on the live chat today. He's although answering some of your question as well. There's some of the regulars. I see Derbauer from Germany. Hey man. We can see Nicolp 1974 that we saw earlier this year in an overclocking event in Cambridge in UK. So thank you guys for being there. There's although RT Surfers in Nigerian. Thank you guys for being there. We know that you're regulars. You are always there for this kind of live. This is awesome. My dear League of, this will be the last part of this competition, and everything have been going strong here, very strong. And we were saying a little bit before that sometimes you want to make sure that you have a score to finish something. What would be your strategy if you were in this competition?
Yeah, I think it's the same as yesterday. You have to boot up like something solid, run, clock higher, run again, save the profile, clock higher. If it crashes, just think, what did go wrong? Didn't I properly monitor, let's say, the temperatures? Maybe the card like gave a spike in voltage or a drop in voltage. So you have to find specific reasons. Was it too cold? And that's something that you have to match. The thing is, some people write stuff down. And sometimes it's a good strategy. So you have like proper settings, what is going on, and no massman also works like that. If he's like pushing a card, just to analyze what is going on, because you're live, everybody is watching you. You see all the other competitors also posting up scores, and things can get like whacked up in your brain. Even you did it like home, like with your eyes shut, it can be totally different on a live event. So I think everybody is just like posting up scores, and the things we're seeing like already is like the top 3 is already there again, very close scores. So yeah, they're all the same level at the moment. So it will be hopefully a tight race again, and something to look out for, let's say in almost 2 hours, who will win the $15,000.
That's going to be quite impressive. And so far, if we get a quick look at the scoreboard, we have some of the best overclocker going in there. I had some issue here with the scoreboard, but everything is back on track. So in stage 3, they have to reach 3D Mark Firestrike graphics score, the highest one. And this one is from Extreme Addict with 1,715 points. So Extreme Addict is the clear leader here, closely followed by Hazan and Lucky Noob, the 2 most contestants that you guys saw them in the very opening of today's show.
Yeah, and it's fun to see Gunslinger, because Gunslinger is like a very known overclocker from the US. So I think the Americans will cheer him on together with Fugger. But you see, this is Gunny's thing. He's 3D guy. He's really like always focused on 3D benching and stuff like that. And maybe the stuff yesterday wasn't like really his cup of tea. Okay, he can match some good scores, but to really get like on XA level is something totally different. So I think today maybe he can be in for, or give like the ranking maybe a good stir, which is fun, of course, that you have like, it's not really an outsider, let's not call him like that, but yeah, he can, you see he's already like in 3rd spot, and he can make the difference maybe if Lucky Noob can catch up with XA, yes or no, because he's in between the guys.
That would be funny to see, because stage 1 was won by Extreme Addict. Maximum memory frequency, so strong memory there yesterday morning. And Hassan, Lucky Noob and Extreme Addict were fighting very close together on stage 2. At some point they had the exact same score for the past 30 minutes, and they spent pretty much the last 45 minutes trying to reach 1 point more than the others, just to make sure that they can win that stage. At the very end of the stage, Hassan just posted a new score, 2 points better than Extreme Addict, and that's how he won stage 2 for this competition here at the HyperX OC Takeover. Mr. Ligov, do you want to present one of the overclocker a little bit more in detail?
I don't know, who did we forget yesterday?
Oh, we can go present them. We didn't do Nacho, no? Oh no, we did him.
Yeah, we
Joe
did
90
Nacho.
BR. Joe 90 BR. You don't make Jaime.
Didn't we do the Jaime? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, because he was like maybe the, and let's say if we took like bets on who would like win this and who would be like utterly be in for sure in like top 3. I don't think much people will put a lot of money on Joe 90 BR, because he's like always present on overclocking events, but he's never like in top 5. And yesterday he surprised friend and foe in stage 1, because I'm just clicking again on the stage. He was like in 3rd spot, so in max memory frequency. So he was like there, like, hey man, I'm here to play with the big boys.
You know
watch
what?
me.
The most impressive thing from Joe 90 BR is he didn't actually receive any of the motherboard before, any of the components before the competitions. His motherboard got stuck in the customs in Brazil. So that means he had to discover all the settings in the BIOS here at the competition.
Yeah.
And that is actually quite insane that he can manage to put out some very good scores. So that's what we're telling guys. The guys you can see here, Jaime on the stage, Nacho Arroyo a little bit in the background. These guys, they know what they are doing. They have been doing that for years, and they have been the training. They have the skills to do it. This is actually impressive to do. There was some. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, and this is all the thing that I told yesterday as well. So indeed, like you said, these guys have a high technical level on the overclocking part, what they can do, how they can push the hardware and stuff like that. But we also have to give like kudos to the MSI guys as well, to let's say bring a proper board with a good working BIOS, so the people indeed can enjoy extreme overclocking without worrying too much of memory dividers and all that crap not working. So yeah, let's say a small applause for the MSI X-Power board as well. It's really strong board, in fact, and very easy going. You don't need to mess like with a 10,000 settings to just get it like going. It's like, yeah, auto is fine on some stuff.
On
But Joe
some
90PR
stuff only.
On some stuff indeed. There's always stuff that you have to adjust, and the thing also is like, even if you have like a good board, it's not that all settings or the same settings will work for other CPUs. So you can have maybe 5 i5 6600Ks, and just to push them to the max frequency, it could be that you have to alter specific voltages in the motherboard's BIOS or via a software tool in Windows to just push it to the max. It's not always like you have like a profile, oh, I can boot like 6.4 and just run Cinebench or whatever benchmark at 6.4. If you plug in another CPU, it can be totally different. So in each time it's like a discovery of the hardware that you bought, that you received, or that you're working on in nice overclocking events like this.
It's interesting to see that after 1 hour of this stage, there is already everyone that did submit the score. Sadly, Splave is not part of this competition for last minute cancellation. So we have 9 overclockers competing today. We have one of the latest score that make Gunslinger to be at the first spot in the ranking.
So yeah, my prediction is coming true then, that Gunny indeed can be maybe the let's say the surprise act of today. Maybe he didn't perform, let's say, on top of the top 3 yesterday, but today he's showing what can be done. So really looking forward to the guy, and let's see what he can do for the ranking.
Indeed. I want to see more from Dr. Wiz. He is quite strong on the graphics, but he was saying yesterday that for him, he just don't want to finish in the end. That was his goal, and that's a Gunslinger had issue with some of his stage yesterday, stage 1 and stage 2, and he was not very happy with the performance that he had at this point. And that's actually good to see him now on top of the ranking for the stage 3 for the 3D Mark Firestrike stage here.
Yeah, and just to see the scores already that are being posted up there, like almost matching the one from XA from a few years back on the other platform, on the Haswell platform. So they're like closing in slowly but steadily, and probably will even surpass it at a certain moment. Because if you see the frequencies of Gunslinger CPU, it's only at 4.7 gigahertz. So maybe with like 5 gigahertz on the CPU, he can push maybe a little bit more higher on the FPS. But we have to check it out, if it really is helping the graphics score to clock the CPUs higher and higher.
Yeah, that will be funny to see. I guess we can go and comment on some of the scores. So let's take Gunslinger's score, for example. If we go to the screenshot, there is some more information. So we go to ocesport.io and we go select the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 Final, Stage 3. And if we look at the score, is graphic cards. Oh, they didn't put the information completely, so we have to go there. The graphics scores is 17,570 points. If we look a little bit closer to the CPU Z, is at 4.7 gigahertz with the i7 6600K. Is at 1700 megahertz for the memory, the DDR4 Predator from HyperX, and most importantly, he is at about almost 1700 megahertz for the GPU core, and almost 2100 megahertz for the memory frequency on his graphic card. Mr. Legoft, what would you say about that score? Do you think there's a lot of room for improvement, or that will be pretty much tied around this for the next few hours?
It all depends, let's say, on the quality of the GPUs installed on these MSI TI Lightning cards. So it's like I said, during the MOA competition, I think like the max some people did was like 1700-ish, but we have seen GTX 780 Ti's go close to 2000 and even surpassing 2000 megahertz on the core. So it is a little bit of silicon lottery going on today. So it could be that some guys are able to clock, let's say, the GPU a little bit higher than the other ones, and there's of course no restriction today. There's no limit, so there's no imposing 1600 core or whatever. They have to push as hard as they can, and yeah, I think 1600 is already a good start here. So hopefully they can reach like 1700 or 1800, sorry, on the core.
As you can see right now on the video, the guys are running liquid nitrogen on the system. So that's a liquid that is a negative 196 degrees. And they are also using the afterburner tool for them to change some of the settings. That being the memory frequency, the GPU frequency as well on the graphic cards, but they are also managing the voltages that they can have at this point. As you can see in the middle, this is Extreme Addict, the leader of these competitions. That's the guy to take if one of these other contestants want to get back home with some cash. We have here a lot of people from all over the world. They did qualify during 4 months. They did qualify during 4 months online, and basically you have people representing North America. We had Fugger and Splave that were supposed to represent North America. Gunslinger was chosen on the OC show. That's a show that we were making on OverClocking-TV along the year as a wild card. Extreme Addict was the winner of the previous edition. He's from Poland, so he got invited straight away. From Asia, we have 2 Indonesian guys, very strong guys, very good overclockers, Hasan and Lucky Noob. For EMEA, so that means Europe and in East Asia, we have Dr. Wies from South Africa, one of the top overclockers of South Africa, as well as Robert Sanino from Italia. For South America, we have Nacho Arroyo from Argentina and Joe 90BR from Brazil. For you guys that just tune in here, we are at the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final, and let us know where you're coming from. If you come from South Africa, South America, North America, Asia, or even Europe, let us know what the country you're coming from, and that would be fun to see. I know there's some guys from UK. Obscure Paradox is actually from UK. Yuri Goff, you're in Belgium, so that will be interesting to see what kind of where the people come from on that.
But they also today for is like even the people that know overclocking, but there's more to see today. With XTU yesterday, we saw like small wheels spinning, and finally you produce a score, but with like 3D graphic benchmarks, there's something to see for the audience as well. So you see the FPS moving, you see the images, and all the tweaks that they're doing. So this is like a little bit more entertaining to watch, to say, than the show that we had, like, or the stuff that was going on like yesterday. Which
I do really like
stuff.
to watch the 3D benchmark, because as you say, there's something being displayed on the screen of the overclocker, and that is quite interesting as well to see when they crash. I love to see the blue screens, to be honest.
So let's make an assumption. If you see like 5 blue screens, you will start like a raffle or something. Can we
sure.
call that a deal?
We can make a deal. If we can see live 5 blue screen, I will offer something on the raffle. As we did ask of you guys where you're coming from, we have guys from Finland. Shish David is from Finland. We have Oos Santos from Morocco. We have Nigerian from Philippines, so that's quite late in the night. We have that MMRK2 from the USA, some people from Denmark in Europe. You guys tune in from everywhere. Oh, there's one from where I live. Hugo Steedslis 96 from Quebec, Canada. Go for the Canadian on the Oki team. You guys come from all over the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. What we are seeing right now on the screen is the few screenshots they have to take. Leagoft, what is the process for them to make a valid submission for the competition?
So of course you have to have the Firestrike benchmark open. The score has to be displayed with all, let's say, subtests clearly visible, so you have all the correct FPS and stuff displayed. This is for the judges to verify that you've of course run the proper Firestrike, because you can run Firestrike Extreme, you can change detail settings, so you have to run the default Firestrike benchmark. Then to verify, let's say, the clocks, the memory clocks, processor clocks, and clocks of the graphics card, you have to open CPU-Z tabs and a GPU-Z tab. CPU-Z indeed for the processor and the memory, and the GPU-Z tab will, let's say, explain everything on how high you clock your graphics card, core, and memory. This all has to be displayed on the desktop with the correct background. You have to save probably, let's say, the Firestrike validation file. So there's like a validation tool inside the benchmark as well. So they can upload it to futuremark.com. And of course, hand over the screenshot, because we're seeing it right now. Somebody is preparing his screenshot. So opening the different CPU-Z tabs.
They have to use that to make sure that we have all the information for a legit score and to be able to comment on that after. So that's very important for them to pay a close attention to that. And when they have to take the screenshot, the system have to not crash as well.
Yeah, that's also sometimes very rough stuff. If you have like a great score, and you finally maybe surpassed, let's say, the 1800 megahertz on the graphics card core, you finally have a score, and then you open CPU-Z, and it blue screens, it locks up, it's like, oh my god, I have to run it again and again and again till you finally get that score done. And yeah, it's part of the show as well. So you can run through the benchmark and the system can still freeze due to condensation issues, instability, whatever. So indeed, everything has to fall again completely together just to get everything done. But it's all part of the game, and that's what makes overclocking at some stages really intense, if you're like really competing with other people in the same room.
That is actually fun to see, and some of the overclockers, although have their own way of competing in these kind of competitions. For example, we had some of the guys, Lucky Noob and Hassan, taking it very relaxed, even if that's the guys. They can be stressed, but they always stay calm, they always smile. That's actually quite impressive to see how they can perform in these kind of competitions. Right now on the screen you can see Extreme Addict, that is the winner of the two previous HyperX OC takeover. And in the background going up with the glasses is Gunslinger, the actual leader of stage 3 here at the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final. Some of the other overclockers didn't add that much luck, let's say, yesterday, and that is the case of Dr. Weez. He did post something on his Facebook fan page earlier this morning. It says, final stage of the HyperX OC final is underway, last chance to save my face for a little bit. And if you guys want to follow Dr. Weez, you can go on his Facebook fan page, give him a like, or even send him a message on his page to cheer him up and making sure that he can get back home with a decent score. Thank you guys for joining this. This is the live overclocking show by OverClocking-TV for the HyperX OC Takeover. If you like what you're seeing, just let us know on the live chat and follow us here on Twitch. I would like to thank Para Assassins for the follow, Fury Zebatch, The Glorious Beer, and The Wayne Zone. Thank you guys for the follow. This is much appreciated. We'll be doing a lot of raffle today, as well as a strong giveaway that you can enter right now by going to overclocking-tv.com/overclocking-TV. /raffle. So we will put you the link in the live chat and on the feed in the next few minutes. Mr. Lego, there's a lot of change in the ranking.
Yeah, you have some karma going on there. So you're talking about Andrew, about Dr. Weez, and like he squeezed himself between Lucky Noob and Extreme Addict. So yeah, so things are really rocking at this moment, and it's getting really interesting because Extreme Addict was like in the beginning of the stage #1, then Gunslinger surpassed him, Lucky Noob, and now even Dr. Weez. So I think Extreme Addict will maybe start to worry a little bit already, like, okay, I have already one person in between. If another 2 persons make it, Lucky Noob might win this. And that's the calculation.
That's the
calculation thing that
calculation
has to
they
go
were
on.
making even yesterday during the lunch. They were all discussing about the strategy for today. And Lucky Noob says, the only way for me to beat Extreme Addict is to have my score, and 3% after that is Extreme Addict. Otherwise, he cannot beat him because of too much point.
Indeed.
That's quite
That's the
impressive as well to see Dr. Wiz jump in, especially according to the last comment he made on his Facebook fan page regarding that he need to perform much better today, and that is actually going on for this, and it's going on the right way.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but he's like powered with the power of love at this moment, Struffman. I think you know what
I know
think you know
exactly
what I'm
what you
saying.
mean. Yep.
So he has some extra motivators, let's say, or spectators at home, and they probably are cheering him on via his smartphone and stuff like that. And yeah, it's really cool to see that Andrew, he's a great bencher. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here. So he has to show, of course, what he's made of. And at the moment, he's doing it. He's playing again with the big boys, even though yesterday was maybe not like he expected it to be. But today, yeah, he's like top 3 again. So let's hope that Andrew can make it and keep that present position.
We have to keep in mind that Andrew and Lucky Noob that were on his side, they did actually came back from China just the day before the competitions. They were at another big competition in Wuhan in China last week, and they did perform there. Actually, Andrew was not happy about his performances at the China event, but Lucky Noob ended up 3rd at that event. So if Lucky Noob still managed to keep in this position, that will make him a good leader for the top 3 positions. Is currently ranked 2nd at 2 points different from Extreme Addict. The points calculation, how does that work for each stage, Mr. Leagoft?
I'm just taking the rules just to see. So for the first spot in stage 3, we get like 60 points. Second spot 54, and it just goes down with 6 each time. So indeed, like Alva was trailing like about 14 points in the beginning of the start of stage 3. So indeed, you have to make the calculation that the other guy has to be like 3 spots further down. And we're seeing that.
There's something big that happened. Extreme Addicts just jumped back to 2nd spot. So Extreme Addict is actually going strong on that, and the chance for Lucky Noob to pass him are getting like smaller and smaller every time we speak.
Yeah, I don't know what scoreboard you have, because I still have like Lucky Noob in the lead, Gunny, Dr. Weeze, and then Extreme Addict. Like Alva expected it to be like a few spots trailing down.
Indeed, now I have Lucky Noob at 1st spot, so my scoreboard was not refreshed.
Yeah. So what will do that for the overall ranking? So Lucky Noob is grabbing 1st spot overall now with 179. Extreme Addict trailing by 4 points, 175. So the heat is on. So this is going to be like an interesting 1 hour and 36 minutes left in this competition.
That is actually true, but until the next score update, we'll take a short break, and during that time you can see the scores on ocesport.io and enter our giveaway to win some awesome prizes like the HyperX PCI Express SSD 480 gigabytes, some USB Savage USB key 250 gigs, as well as some memory kit from HyperX, a mainboard from MSI, and a keyboard from Cooler Master. So you can just get in there on the live chat. We will be giving you the link for it, and we will see you guys in the next few minutes. Welcome back, guys. This is Truthman from OverClocking-TV, and I am with Ligoft from Belgium, our overclocking expert. We are commenting on the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final here in California at the HyperX headquarters. Let's remind you guys that this is the last stage of this competition. The qualifiers have been running for 4 months. We have the 10 best overclocker in the world right here competing in 3 stages for 15,000 USD in cash prize. This is the last stage, and that's where we will know exactly who can go back home with this nice package. Mr. Ligoft, we have a lot of things happening on the ranking, so let's go over it right now.
Yeah, and it's like you said with Dr. Rees, like he put up a picture on his Facebook profile and said, yeah, I hope today I can save a little bit of my face, because today is the day I have to, let's say, maybe correct my performance of the last two stages from yesterday. And look at him. He's like currently leading the ranking in stage 3. So with a score of 17,880 points. So he's like approaching the best score of Extreme Addict at with his 780 Ti card back then, let's say a few years back. So they're well on the way to match that score and probably even surpass it. Second now is Team Indonesia, Lucky Noob, 7,688 points. Give him 54 points for the overall ranking extra. Gunny, Gunslinger from the US, still solid in third spot, 17,570 marks. And fourth position now, Extreme Addict, 17,179.
There was actually some discussion on the live chat that Lucky Noob need to have 3 plays difference on top of Extreme Addict to beat Extreme Addict, and Extreme Addict just have to be in the top 3 to win this competition. So that's what we have to check out. Lucky Noob need to be first, and Extreme Addict need to be at least out of the top 3 to make sure that he's not winning these competitions. So that's going to be extremely difficult for the other guys right here.
Indeed, and I think Lucky Noob, like he said, he needs the help from people like Dr. Rees, maybe Hazan, just passing in front of XA, and then of course you have a totally different game at the overall leaderboard. But yeah, it's not only about your own performance, it's also maybe getting the help of your other, let's say, friendly overclockers. Now we have to say there is like a lot of competition going on, but these guys are all like friends. Everybody knows each other already for over, let's say, easily 4 to 5 years, have met each other in a lot of competitions via the internet, online competitions, stuff like that. But at this moment, everybody benches for themselves. So there's like not like something going on. Okay, maybe if I post that score, XA will not be the champion, so I will hold it back. That does not happen in these kinds of events. Everybody wants to be number 1. Everybody wants to be top of the ranking. Even if you didn't perform, let's say like yesterday, today is maybe a good day to make up for your performance from back then. So just keep in mind that. So currently still, if my scoreboard is still working properly, we have XA overall leader, 175 points, trailed by Lucky Noob, 2 points down, 173. Hazan, so Team Indonesia, or Indonesia in fact as country, going up strong, taking 2 spots of the podium. Dr. Rees from South Africa now in 4th position, 116 points, trailed by the 2 Americans, Fugger and Gunslinger. Argentina and Joe Barr from Brazil, they're like 7 and 8 spot. And finally, our friend from Italy, Roberto Essanino, is 9th position with 81 points.
That's going to be interesting to see in the next hour and 17 minutes how this turns out for the overclockers. This is the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final here at the HyperX headquarters, and we are commenting with myself, Truthman, and Ligoft about these competitions. For you guys that just tuned in from the Twitch front page, this is overclocking. So basically the guy just need to take a computer and make it go as fast as they can. So for that they are using special tools, special software. They change settings in the different on the component of the systems. They have to be the fastest. It's like we give them all the same exact hardware, the same motherboard, the same CPU, the same memory kit. All of that is the same for everyone, and they have to make sure that they modify the system to make it the fastest in here. That is quite interesting to see as well. And if you have any more questions, you can always go on the live chat or go on our YouTube channel to watch out some of our tutorials to see how to gain free performances in only 3 minutes with a simple trick. Mr. Ligoft, your dedication and your bet were on Extreme Addict. Do you think that can still be the case for the next hour and 15 minutes?
Yeah, it's not over yet. It's a bit weird to see indeed that XA cannot improve his score by a lot. I think he improved it like with 4 points only, or 4 marks only. So he was 175 before, I think, and now it's 70,179. So it's not that much performance gain that he gets. You also have to take into consideration they're not running only the graphics test, so they have to run the full suite, let's say, or the suite of the Firestrike benchmark tool. So they have to do the graphics test, the physics test, and the combined test. And it takes like, I'm wild guessing.
It takes about 12 minutes to run the complete benchmark. The judges says as long as you have the complete graphic test, it's okay. So once you get to the physics, you can cancel the thing and still get the score for the graphics. But you need to run the 2 graphic tests for it. So that actually reduced the time for the benchmark. So it's like you have a shortcut on the track. And you still have to run the complete, the first beginning of the track to get your time for this, and you can just take the shortcut after that to restart. So the guys here will maybe have like 6 minutes maximum before getting a score, and I guess we will be able to see some of the screens in soon on the live show to explain you how this is going. Mr. Ligoft, as we say, this is only one sub score of the benchmark. How does that work with the different score and the regular top one?
Not getting really your question, Truffle. So what do you want to know?
How do you calculate the complete score with the small scores?
Indeed. Normally, if you run the normal Firestrike, you have to have GPU power, CPU power, and also the memory power. So that's why it's like not only a 3D benchmark normally in its original state if you run it like completely. So you have to have all the things matching. Everything has to be stable, rock solid, but clocked, of course, high enough. And now they're focusing only on the graphics score, and we see that you don't need a lot of CPU power to just get it going up high. So we see people almost reaching 18,000 points, and it's just depending on, indeed, raw graphics performance. So let's take again Dr. Ruiz's screen, and we see that he's probably, he's already over 1800-ish, I think, on the core already. So he's clocking it up quite nicely at this moment. You see that everybody's memory on the cards is like limited around 2050, 2100 max maybe, due to the used Samsung memory on these cards, and that's as far as they can go there. So they have to really stabilize the core, get it as cold as possible for the voltages and stuff like that, just to clock it up high enough. But then, indeed, like I said, some cards don't like extreme cold. Maybe the memory cold bugs, you lose performance. So find a good balance. Not easy, really not easy to do. And this is the fun thing, is like all these benchers have benched probably on the latest hardware over the last few months. So 980 Ti, stuff like that, Titan X last year maybe. I don't think many benched the new AMD cards, but especially the NVIDIA ones. So they were like already focused on the latest technology, and now they have to do like back to the past, so a flashback from 2 or 3 years ago, and rethink their strategy. How did those cards work? How did they react to temperature? How much voltage did I need to get like the score done? Were there like any memory related issues? Do I need to do like a specific driver setting? It takes a lot of preparation to just come in here and set these scores. It's not something that, even with all the expertise that you have to have some kind of preparation. Just dig in through the internet, through the scores or the database at H.O.T. You will find like a lot of info over there.
And it's very accessible. It's very accessible for everyone. You can run the benchmark on your own system if you want and try to push it a little bit more after that. And that's actually the benchmark. That's what we are seeing right now on the screen. That's the Firestrike benchmark. So they have to run a few of the tests before getting a complete score. So we're gonna drive you through it completely. So this is the second part of the benchmark when we have to render this scene of someone under a cape walking into a cave, being followed by some drones in a blue in a blue sky.
Yeah, and I think it just crashed. Oh no, it just
Either
calculated.
crashed
So he,
yeah. Oh yeah, it crashed. The driver crashed on it.
he's verifying indeed what was going on, and now he's checking the clocks again. So you see that sometimes they click like a software tool that's GPU Z, and it has like a small render test built in. And if you fire that one up, you can verify if the card still has the clocks that you set, for example, via the Afterburner Extreme tool. If it's still managed, sometimes if the driver crashes, the card just clocks back to default. So you have to make sure that it's still running at the frequency that you want it to be, and then you can rerun again. Otherwise, you will just be losing time.
That is once again the benchmark being run. So the first part of the benchmark, this is 3D Mark Fire Strike, and it's always starting the same one. So the benchmark is always the same over and over and over again. The only difference will be the number of frames that are being rendered for it. So what we can see here is the normal walking through the cave with the cape person that we don't know yet who that is, being followed by a huge flying spider. It's quite,
yeah, and the thing is,
blue.
the overclocker here at this moment probably has an issue in the second subtest of the graphics, let's say, test. So he's probably trying to figure out why did it crash before I passed, let's say, the GT1 as we call it, so the first test, and now I'm always like crashing in the second test. So he's trying probably some settings to maybe he clocked the graphics score a little bit too high, wasn't cold enough, maybe he clocked the memory a little bit too high, and now he's finding the max for the second test as well. So he's trying to look for the balance just to finish, or maybe just see if I erase this a little bit, does it have any effect on this score on this particular set of the benchmark.
So as we were talking a little bit before, it is you usually get a complete score for 3D Mark, but we are just focusing on the graphic score right now because the graphic score is the one that being involved with the VGA and some of the other tweaks that the guys can do. So it will be quite interesting to see how they manage to push that to the limits. So we're just focusing on the sub-test of the settings, and as you can see they are using the MSI Afterburner, so that's the software that even you guys can use to modify your core frequency, memory frequency of your graphic cards, the fan speed if you want, and also control the voltages for the core and the core voltage for the GPU of course. So as you can see, they make some change, adjust it, go back to the benchmark, that is 3D Mark, and run again. And this is it. They have to make sure they can beat everyone else's score with this.
Yeah, the ranking has not changed. So Dr. Wee is still leading in stage 3, Lucky Noob, Gunslinger, and then Extreme Addict. So at the moment, for the overall ranking, we have Extreme Addict still just 2 points ahead of Lucky Noob. Then Hazan, which is like trailing with a larger margin, Dr. Rees and Fugger. So yeah, for the ranking, the overall ranking, XA is, I wouldn't call it like a comfortable position. It's on the edge, but he's still like, say, ready to claim the Grand Slam of the H.O.T HyperX finals here.
That's quite impressive to see, and I'll always love to see the 3D benchmark like we were saying a little bit before, because there's stuff being happening on the screen and I can't wait to see a blue screen. There's some people talking about that on the live chat as well, Agent TK7. And remember that we said if we see 5 blue screen before the end of this round, we will make a special raffle on the live chat. Mr. Leagoff, let's go a little bit over the description of what's going on right now on the screen. We still have Dr. Wiz on the first on the first part of the stage, followed by Lucky Noob, Gunslinger, Azan, and Extreme Addict. So far, that means that if the ranking doesn't change, Lucky Noob will be winning this HyperX OC takeover. But I'm pretty sure that Mr. Extreme Addict have a lot of things that he can still do until the next hour and 6 minutes. That is actually the screen we're seeing right now. That's Extreme Addict, and you need to do a better score than 1797 point for the graphics score.
Yeah, indeed. It's like we said. So Lucky Noob is getting like a little bit of help from the other overclockers. They're just squeezing in between him and Extreme Addict, and of course Dr. Wee's claiming top spot is also a challenge for Alva. In fact, to be able to match them scores. But we're seeing the same stuff as yesterday. So everything is like really tight, especially with the, let's say, the top 5. It's really tight. The other guys from top 6 on, they still have to pass, let's say, 17k. The other guys are slowly but steadily approaching 17.5 and even 18k on the graphics. So pretty solid scores that we're seeing here.
If we look at the score from the guys that it already published, so the score of Dr. Wiz and Lucky Noob. So Dr. Wiz is running at 880 points for the graphics score, and that is his graphics card is actually running at, oh, there's actually a typo on the on it, 100. It says 1,000 megahertz, but that should be actually like double something.
I don't know whose screen we're seeing right now, but I
Dr.
see
Wiz,
like
Dr. Wiz.
so he matches or even beats his current score. Is he 17,800 something?
So this is the score from Dr. Wiz, 880. And if we want to find out what was his previous score, we can go on hwbot.org, and from there we can look at the benchmark. So let's try 3D Mark Firestrike. What kind of video card is he using? So that's the GTX 780 Ti. Oops. Well, Mr. Ligoft, while I'm looking for the score, you could actually continue on commenting on who will be on the ranking quite soon. GeForce GTX.
Yeah, we're seeing like an interesting development. Yesterday with the memory overclocking, everybody was placing like their bets on Extreme Addict. He was like there. Stage 2 started, an Extreme Addict again taking straight the lead. So everybody trailing him, and then something, let's say, not unsurprising or let's say uncommon, but people were like challenging him already in the XTU stage, and even people surpassing him. And in the final minutes of stage 2, Hazan took over the lead and taking off some vital points of XA at that moment. So everything has to be decided today in stage 3, which is roughly based on pure GPU performance. Yesterday was a bit more 2D. First of all, raw memory clocks, nothing to do about stability, just get them as high as possible, just stable enough to take the screenshot, to do the validation, and then try to clock higher again. XTU, on the other hand, is like a free downloadable tool from Intel. In fact, it's developed by Intel in cooperation with H.O.T, and it really stresses your CPU to the max. It's like a really good tester for daily stability as well. It only takes a few minutes to run on a modern setup, and it gives you all the required info that you need. The clocks you were running at, the temperature that it did, even maybe if it was throttling, yes or no, you get some vital info there. And XA normally is a pretty good memory tweaker, and XTU scales a lot with all the memory bandwidth that you can give it. But even though he got beaten at his own game by the number 1 of Indonesia, Hazan, which is also the top qualifier, I thought, for this live competition. And today, stage 3, GPU performance, and doing the Firestrike graphics tests. So Firestrike, in fact, is one of the benchmarks developed by the FutureMark guys. If you go to futuremark.com, you can download the free versions. You can, like Truthman said, you can run it on your daily setup and upload the score, or it be uploaded automatically, and you can compare the performance of your current setup with maybe people with similar setups, or maybe just see how your current hardware scales with maybe modern hardware or other video cards from other vendors.
Indeed.
Really fun thing to do.
Indeed, and there was some question on the live chat by KeyRWeb90, and Obscure Paradox gave the best answer. The question was, what is the what is going on and how that can be improved. And the answer was basically what we are doing at 3D Mark is a test that is running a 3D benchmark. So that runs a screen very much like a game, and the person that can achieve the highest FPS or the fastest rendering time in the test is the winner. So that's how you could explain 3D Mark. If I'm right, the highest graphics score ever on this kind of graphic card, the GTX 780 Ti, is about 20K score. That's the overall best score in the world, all platform mixed in there. So we are actually quite close here at the HyperX OC takeover. And there is actually a lot of difference between the first spot, Dr. Wiz, and the last one, Joe 90BR, where we have about 3,000 points difference, while actually the top 5 is very close at just 800 point difference. So this can change quite a lot in the next few minutes, and there's 1 hour left in this stage 3 to know who will be the winner of the 15,000 USD of this competition.
Yeah, really fun to watch, to see XA indeed trying to figure out how to claim them extra vital points. He needs at least 120 points to move over or to jump over Hazan to be able to claim, let's say, the overall win. So the thing is with Firestrike as well, you need to clock that GPU up. If you can't do it, it's not that tweakable, let's say, as the older legacy benchmark. It really depends on the amount of frequency that you can generate on your GPU core. If that is trailing, it will be a very rough ride. But never think that XA will give up. He will be fighting you till the very, very last minute, and even will start a run just a few seconds before the competition ends, and you have to sit it through, because that's the rule. If somebody starts the benchmark, even when the clock is ticking with a few seconds left, once the benchmark is started, you can completely run it. Of course, if it crashes, it's over. But if it generates a score, even after the time has officially, or the competition has officially closed, the score is still valid. It just has to be started in the final seconds before it passes through.
That's usually the last call, as we can say, the last call for the benchmark. And thank you guys for joining. This is OverClocking-TV. We're covering live the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final here at the HyperX headquarters in California. And I think that you guys deserve something. We didn't saw that many blue screen yet, sadly, because that's what I always want to have on the live stream. It's always fun to speak about that. And we will still offer you guys something. So I have a question for you guys to answer, and if you get the right answer, you might be able to win an HyperX Savage USB drive 64 gigs. So that's quite a huge USB key right there. And the questions to win that is, who is the winner of stage 2 of this HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final right here? If you want to participate, just type ! or raffle and your answer. I repeat the question, who is the winner of stage 2 of the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final? So get on the live chat and try to get something that you could win there. Mr. Ligoft, so far, Lucky Noob is 2nd, and we have Extrematic that is 5th. That is quite interesting, and I can't wait to see what Extrematic can actually do to go and kick some of the scores that are being made.
Yeah, it will be let's say a fight till the final minutes, even seconds of this last stage. And even though XA is frowning his forehead and stuff like that, he will be trying. Even if they have to unmount the card, even just heat it up quickly to get some condensation gone, he will be remounting it and trying to beat you. That's how he is. He's very competitive. He's a very friendly guy, but once he starts hammering the keyboard, he is your worst enemy. He is your worst nightmare. That's XA for you.
I can't wait to see the final score, to be honest. There's less than 1 hour left in this special last stage of the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 final. There was some question on the live chat. What would be the difference in the graphics core for a benchmark run that the CPU is at 5 GHz or at 5.6 GHz? And Massman from HWBot just answered that the difference is very small. This is a graphic benchmark, and this is influenced by the graphic card's power rather than the CPU and memory power of the system. So guys, there is still the special raffle going on. We didn't show that many blue screens, but at least we are giving you something. If you want to win an HyperX Savage USB drive 64 gigs, you can answer this question on the live chat. Who is the winner of stage 2 of the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 final that happened yesterday? And if you want to participate, you can just type exclamation mark raffle and your answer. Right now on the screen, you can see Robert Sandino from Italy that did qualify online at HWBot over the past 4 months to get here and maybe have a chance to win the $500,000 US.
I think XA submitted just a score, or he handed over at least the USB stick to Christian Ney, so one of the HWBot moderators, if not the HWBot moderator. And I think we will see, if the score, of course, is validated by Christian Ney, it will be uploaded and maybe we'll shake the rankings again. So we'll see, because you can see XA is like looking, he's waiting for his score to pop up and just to see how the other guys react to it.
I got the sorry for that. I got the notification that you guys, if you want to participate in the raffle, you have to follow OverClocking-TV to be eligible for it. So this way we know exactly how we can contact you. Otherwise, you might have some issue about that. So if you're entering to win one of the HyperX Savage USB drive 64 gigs, don't forget that you can always you have to submit to follow as well OverClocking-TV right here on Twitch. My dearly Goff, you were saying?
Yeah, the epic battle is on. So in the overall ranking, we have Extreme Addict now #1 again, followed by Lucky Noob, 2 points behind, and Hazan still at 148. So indeed, XA posted up a score just a few seconds ago.
XA just turned out to be 4th now. So that means there's only there's only 1% between Lucky Noob and Extreme Addict. So that's why Extreme Addict is now jumping back to the first, to the first of the leaderboard of the complete competitions. It just posted a score at 1,700 points and 395. This is
indeed,
very close from the others.
Now Lucky Noob indeed has to either beat Dr. Weeze's score or hope that some other competitors will again beat Extreme Addict's score and not, of course, beat his score of Lucky Noob. So yeah, it's very, very, very tight, very, very fun to watch this time. Sometimes we have competitions like Formula 1 where everything is decided in the pits or whatever strategy that the engineers planned from before the start of the race. But here it all just goes down to the final seconds, and they only have like 53 minutes to go. And we even see, if you guys see it, we see Lucky Noob in the middle, Hazan is on the left, and we see Dr. Weeze already like heating up his card. So he has maybe some condensation issues, and he's maybe trying to remount the pot again and try for another run to even, let's say, beat his current score.
Indeed, and I was looking at the screenshot of the scores of Gunslinger and Extreme Addict, Gunslinger being 3rd and Extreme Addict being 4th. And if we look closely at the different score that we have, Gunslinger is running this system at 4.7 gigahertz for the CPU, but is also running the graphic cards at 1695 megahertz for the core and almost 2100 megahertz for the memory, while Extreme Addict, that is just below him, just a few 100 points below, is running the CPU at 4.5 gigahertz, but as we said, this doesn't impact much on the score system. Is running the GPU core clock at 1670 megahertz and the memory at 2050 megahertz. So that is where the point difference is. The core frequency of the VGA is a little bit lower than Gunslinger, and the memory clock is a little bit lower. It's about 50 megahertz each. That is very tight. There is some room for improvement for both of the overclockers, But what we want to see is to see if Hassan can maybe pass Extreme Addict, or if any of the remaining contestant can go further than that. Fugger, Natural Arroyo, Ursanino, or Jonah and EBI.
Yeah, and you see that everybody's still trying hard. They're like figuring out, how can I squeeze them final megahertz from my setup, my current setup? How do the other guys do it? And we see there's not that much voltage going through the GPU core. It's like 1.35 volts or something at that moment, but you still need like some good action, some good control on everything which is going on here. So I have to check what is going on here.
Guys, we will be closing the raffle soon, and I think that when you will hear that on the live, that will already be closed for it. So let me close that right now, and this is closed now. So this is too far. So the question to win, what we could win was an HyperX Savage USB drive 64 gigs, and this is quite important to note that we had the questions for it. Who is the winner of stage 2 of the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final? So let's draw someone from that, and the answer is Hassan. So that's the right one, that's the right answer, and the person that won it's Spart underscore Z. So Spart Z, congratulations, you just won this awesome prizes from HyperX, the Savage USB drive 64 bits, 64 gigabytes. That is, we're gonna have some more giveaway on the live chat, and if you guys want to find something else like the PCI Express SSD and so on, you can always go on our special raffle going on our Facebook fan page as well as on our website, and you can win some awesome prizes. The HyperX PCI Express SSD 480 gigs. You can win a pair of DDR4 Predator HyperX memory, 3000 rated one. Some another Savage of 250 gigs, a motherboard from MSI, as well as a keyboard from Codemaster. So congratulations, Spart V, you just won yourself this awesome prize. We'll be contacting all the winners of the giveaways and everything by a private message here on Twitch, or directly on your email address that you provided if you enter the giveaway. Mr. Legoft, what we can see right now on the screen is Extreme Addict, and he's an overclocking Extreme Addict. He's on top of his game. He's competing in pretty much all the competitions that exist in this year. That's actually quite crazy.
Yeah, he's one of the, let's say, the locals. No matter where you host an event, if it's done by an online qualifier, he will probably, in 99.9% of the cases, he will be there. He will be one of the top 10 people that qualified for that event, and even during the event, he will probably be on the stage, let's say on the podium in the top 3 places again. And today, yeah, it's still very close, but he's in the lead. He's still in the lead with 2 points over Lucky Noob. And it's between those two guys, I think. The other guys can just maybe toss the ranking a little bit, mix it up a little bit, but in fact it's head to head. Extreme Addict with Lucky Noob, and like some people said already on the Twitch channel as well, he's like in the center as well of the room. So that's like a specific position, because everybody can watch what you're doing. Okay, you have to have like magnifying glass to see what voltages he is running or which frequencies, but you can watch the guy, so he feels like the pressure of all the guys watching his back. And that's something special. I don't know if they did it specifically for that reason, because he's like the master of overclocking, or especially for the HyperX qualifiers or H.O.T series. But he is there, but they're not giving him like a free ride. He has to perform. He has to perform
it. He got qualified directly there because he won last year, but he has to perform. And that's the screen we just see, and we saw some artifact on the screen. So that was the weird calculation error you could see, the graphical bugs you could see on the screen just a minute ago, where that's what we call artifact. And this happens when the hardware is pushed so much to the limit that it is not stable anymore. So sometimes it crashes, but sometimes it render some issues on the screen. So that's what you need to be careful. And right now we can see Lucky Noob, the second best score in this stage, is from Indonesia, and he's been performing well. He was at the Galax competition last week, and he finished third, if I'm right.
Yeah, that's right, and that's the thing with Alva always, like, he's like starting to smile already, so Daddy Irvin will be happy as well, because we didn't see Alva smiling a lot yesterday, because probably he was still wasted from the trip, the difference in time zones and stuff, like, so the jet lag, but today it feels like way more up to it, and he has like this special technique of pouring in the liquid nitrogen, because usually we pour in liquid nitrogen, and he always gives these small, let's call it blasts or sips. So a special technique to do the temperature control, in fact. But it seems to work out for him.
Yeah, but that's each overclocker have their own way of doing this, like controlling the temperature on the CPU. As they're using liquid nitrogen that is negative 196 C, it's extremely important for them to be able to control the temperature, because you cannot just fill it up and just wait for it. You have to make sure that the temperature is adjusting by itself to make sure that the CPU is keep working. You can go very low on the temperature, but if you go too low, it stops working. Mr. Ligov, did you have this kind of issue when you were testing with liquid nitrogen in the past?
Oh, lots. Because each time, if usually most of the elite overclockers present here, they get like these graphics cards, processors, motherboards way before they hit the retail shelves. So to test them out, what works, what doesn't work, is it efficient enough? We also usually have other brands to compare the components to as well. And we can give feedback to the vendors. So some people think this overclocking thing, it's like, why is it useful? But the thing is, we can have a lot of a high technical knowledge. So we can give feedback to the manufacturers. They can improve stuff even before the components hit the retail shelves. So usually there has been a lot of testing going through. And it doesn't always need to be under liquid nitrogen, because we just dig into the BIOSes of these motherboards, and we look at the efficiency of the components by using these 3D benchmarks or stuff like that. And we can really provide the required feedback to make a product even better. And that's what the vendors, I think, embrace overclocking at this moment. Not only for the PR results, but also by all the technical knowledge and baggage they can receive from the overclocking community in general.
It's actually that if we can see right now on the screen, that's Ursa Nino, and you could see his watch was saying 10 p.m. and 44 minutes. That's actually the time at home for him in Italy, and is here benching with the safety glasses. Oh, right now what we could have seen on the screen was actually what we call artifact. The biggest issue with the artifact is it is not stable, so usually the score will not get better once you have them. And if you're doing that too much or pushing too much over the edge, you might damage the hardware. This will not happen for you guys at home doing that on your daily system, because it is always safe to do it. Like the basic overclocking is always safe to do. These guys are using liquid nitrogen, and they are pushing. It's not even close to the edge, like way past over the edge. That's extremely fast for the system that it is. So you're actually witnessing some of the fastest GTX 780 Ti on the market that were on the market at this point.
Yeah, and it's also, we have to state again that the software that these guys are using is also available to you guys, to all, let's say, all people that buy or even download the software. But you have to think you're using the retail version or the regular version, while we have access to the extreme version, which is like not fully unlocked in voltages, but we can go way higher, of course. And that's also, before you get that extreme version, you have to sign like a paper or an NDA with MSI. You have to provide the serial number of your graphics card. So indeed, if you break the card, from the moment that you sign the paper, it means I don't care about my warranty anymore. I know that I will void the warranty because I will put liquid nitrogen on it. I will use a special tool to unlock all the voltages. So it's not something that you get just for free. You have to sign like a deal with the manufacturer as well. Okay, man, you can have the tool, but you have to sign the paper, and with that paper signed, it means you distantiate yourself from any warranty claims. So it's fully in your hands. If you break it, you can cry, but you can't RMA it.
But
XA can RMA anything, but that's something else.
these are true for the extreme overclocker, but for the regular Joe, you can just use the afterburner and just go and play with it until it's you can get a better score. And actually, that would be the best improvement for you guys doing gaming right now. That you can get some more FPS when you do push the graphic cards a little bit more. That was. Don't forget, guys, we are monitoring the live chat, and if we want to have more information, you can just ask the question in there. We have Obscure Paradox, one of our moderator, as well as a Massman HWBot, sometimes answering some of your questions. Right now, we have the screen from Fugger, representing North America. He's from the USA. He is living in Las Vegas, and he's using a special coding solution. You can see on the right side. That's called a cascade or single or fast change system. So that is basically a fridge system to froze your computer. That's how it is.
Yeah, it's an overclocked fridge. That's how you can do it. And I think Fugger has like always like one of the most high performance cascades out there. So he can usually run like -100 easily on the CPU, while some cascades that you can buy, they're still manufactured, might not even reach -100 under load. But Charles is always using, I think on almost any live event that he did in the USA, if he can bring his cascade, he probably will use it. Because in fact, it allows him to just focus on the GPU at this moment. The CPU is happily running. He found like a good stable setting. It's stable, and he just can focus on the GPU, while the other guys have to control the CPU temp, maybe memory temp, and it adds just up to the required skill level.
We had an information on the live chat by Massman HWBot that is one of the judge here at the HyperX OC takeover, and he says Lucky is back. So that means Lucky Noob might have got a better score than Dr. Wiz, and we're gonna see that in the next few seconds. By the time the scoreboard just appear, we're just waiting for the scores to be there, and we'll be sure to comment on it. So that means that if Lucky Noob pass Dr. Wiz, it will be on the first overall ranking for this competition, and that is going to be crazy. So let's see.
Yeah.
What you've been seeing on the what you're seeing right now on the live is the final ranking, and that's it. Lucky Noob is now first in this competition because he just submitted a very nice score in this last stage at a 3D Mark Firestrike, and is now he have beaten Dr. Wiz by 13 points, and that is what makes the difference. 13 points more in the benchmark, and is now first of this stage 3. There's only 38 minutes left for Extreme Addict to go catch him, and it's actually a very nice performance presentation that we have right here.
Yeah, and then the special thing that you see on the screenshot of Lucky Noob, if you can look at it at the esports page, in fact, is that he has sacrificed memory speed on the graphics card to raise the core speed probably. Because usually he was like everybody's running like over 2000 megahertz on the memory, and Lucky Noob is like constantly heating the memory, something we did also with GTX 480 way back, just to get the cards running stable even at high clocks and extreme cold. And now he's indeed like lowering the memory clock, so maybe he has like small issue on the memory, but maybe this is the trick, that his memory was like cold bugging, running unstable, and maybe influencing the score in a negative way. So he might have found like now a sweet spot on the memory by heating it with a heat gun.
That's what we are seeing right now. You see the benchmark is running and is heating the card. So that may be the reason, or maybe the PWM is getting too cold and the power delivery system is acting weird.
Yeah.
So what we can see...
Sadly, his run crashed indeed, and now he's just heating up the card again just to go for another run.
So that's quite impressive to see.
Yeah, XA is. I think XA is starting to get like a little bit more worried now because he didn't expect this to happen. I think he was like looking. I just need to get a little bit closer to Lucky Noob, and then hopefully Dr. Weiss will stay in first spot, and then it will be just enough to claim the victory. But now in its current state, the ranking is like Lucky Noob might finally win a big overclocking event. He always has been number 2, number 3.
He
always
always been
there with the big-
always been on the top 5 for pretty much all the biggest overclocking events
yeah.
for the past 8 years, but he never actually won one, and that would be a very complete achievement for this Indonesian overclocker to represent his country here and making sure that he could win that. So this is it. The run is launched again. He's warming up a part of the graphics card to make sure that it doesn't crash. Oh, it crashed right away, doing some artifact and going back to the desktop.
Indeed, and Dr. Weiss is claiming top spot again in stage number 3, cracking 18k. So he's well on the way to claim victory only in this stage, of course. He is not one of the players for the overall ranking, but at least he can show what he's made of. And indeed, he's a very good 3D overclocker. So 18,288 marks for Dr. Weiss. Lucky Noob, almost close to 17,900. Gunslinger 17,570, and Extreme Addict still not able to breach 17,400. So XA, I don't know. He will not give up, but he will be worried at this moment.
That is a huge boost by Dr. Weiss. As you can see, he's taking pictures, being happy for it. It's a huge boost. You have a nice lead against the second person, that is Lucky Noob. So that's gonna be extremely difficult for Lucky Noob to try catch up on Dr. Weiss. There's one way though that Lucky Noob can still win this competition if Azan beat Extreme Addict's score, and these two are just 100 points apart. So that could be something that will happen in the next few minutes. So right now on the screen you had Dr. Weiss, and you can see there's a lot of people here from HyperX coming here to watch the last 35 minutes of this competition.
Yeah, it's always new to people. You have the smoke effect, and the people can't imagine that even if the liquid nitrogen drops on your hand, that you don't get like frostbite or anything. It just Hazan has also called a judge to verify a score or maybe claim the USB stick. So we might see another stir in the ranking soon. But indeed, the liquid nitrogen is like safe if you know what you're doing. I know that you, Truth, you can give maybe the viewers a little bit more insight because you're always like teaching how to properly use liquid nitrogen.
I've actually been doing a lot of safety training for all the overclockers in this kind of competitions. The overclockers here, they are used to that. They know exactly how to handle that. Some of them have been using liquid nitrogen for more than 8 or 9 years. They know the risks. They know how to use it. They know what they should never do with it as well. And what I was doing is doing basically the safety training for all the newcomers. To make it quick, you just have to be careful to not use that in a closed space. You have to be careful to wear the protection equipment that you could have, and making sure that you don't throw that on your feet or on your socks, etc. You have to just be careful with what you're doing. And if you ever want to try out this extreme overclocking thing, as well as the regular overclocking, you can always join one of the HWBot World Tour event. These events have been organized by HWBot since last year, and we can already say, or actually we can already leak a lot of information. There will be a lot of events pretty much everywhere in the world, maybe close to you. The HWBot World Tour is going worldwide, and you could be able to join that at the next few events. If you want more information, you can always follow us on our Facebook fan page, and you can also go on hwbot.org if you want to have more information. As we say, you can look for us through social media with the tag OverClocking-TV. Mr. Legoft, this is going to be the last 30 minutes of this stage. Let's take a quick break. 5 minutes. We'll let you guys with the ranking and what is happening right here at the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 final. And we're going to catch you back in the next 5 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Truthman, and this is the HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 World Final, right here from the HyperX headquarters in California. This is the last 20 minutes of the stage 3, and I'm here with Ligoft from Belgium commenting you on that. Hey, Ligoft, how are you doing?
Yeah, fine, man. It's getting like really, really, really exciting. Another, let's say, stir in the ranking, and yeah, the heat is on. The heat is on.
So we have Dr. Wiz that is first in this stage. We have Lucky Noob second, the Gunslinger third, and right during the break, Hassan submitted a new score and he managed to pass above Extreme Addict. So that means Hassan is fourth and Extreme Addict is now fifth. That means a lot because there is a need to have two contestants in between Lucky Noob and Extreme Addict for Lucky Noob to beat the winner of the previous 2 seasons of the HyperX OC Takeover, that is Extreme Addict. So far it is all playing in the favor of Lucky Noob. There's also a strong score from Dr. Wiz from South Africa, so that would be quite interesting to see. Right now on the screen you can see Hassan, Mr. Ligoft. This is the last 20 minutes. I'm very excited to see what's going on because Extreme Addict can submit any score, a better score at any time from now on.
Yeah, indeed, anything can happen. Of course, we have to think already. These guys have been pushing the graphics cards for almost over 2 hours now on liquid nitrogen, and slowly but steadily, it could be that some problems occur. We have already seen some people like unplugging the graphics card, heating them up, remounting again, maybe trying. I don't know if they have like a spare one available, fully insulated and ready to go. But we have seen people doing other stuff, and the fun thing is now, if we had a quick look at Hassan's score, and he just went like a different approach from Lucky Noob. Lucky Noob was like downclocking the memory and increasing the GPU core, while Hassan in fact doesn't have that high GPU score or core clock, sorry, but he has a very, very high memory frequency on the graphics cards, 2150. I think that's one of the higher ones that I've seen on 780 Ti at the moment.
That's I think the highest I saw as well today, 2153 megahertz for the memory, while it was at 1670 for the GPU. And Lucky Noob that you can see right now on the screen was at 1822 for the core and only 1925 for the memory. So that means you have a lot of different way to influence on your score to make sure that you can get to there, as well as Lucky Noob is using a 4.5 gigahertz CPU, while Hassan is using a 4.6 gigahertz CPU. But as we say, the memory frequency of the CPU doesn't impact much in this stage because they are running 3D Mark, and 3D Mark is the graphic dependent benchmark. So what does that mean, my dear Ligoft?
Yeah, indeed, I was a little bit surprised. I really thought that like the new Skylake platform could boost maybe the score a little bit, but apparently indeed it's not really relevant. Okay, if we do like a full Firestrike benchmark score, so that we include indeed the graphics department, the CPU department and the memory department in the physics score, then indeed the more, let's say, power from the CPU you can give to the graphics card, the higher the total score will be. But apparently the graphics score, yeah, it doesn't need like a 5 gigahertz plus CPU at this moment. So really, really fun competition to see, really close scores, and indeed everybody is like matching up. And oh, we see another Firestrike attempt crashing
from Extreme Addict. From Extreme Addict is maybe pushing too fast, too close to the edge is graphic card, and you have to beat Hassan's score by at least 1 point to make sure that he can get to the first place and get on to Lucky Noob ranking overall. So as you can see on the screen now is adjusting some of the settings, verifying the frequency if they apply correctly.
Yeah, I think Miha is looking for anything at this moment. Anything that can boost his score is sufficient. Even though the margin between his score and Hassan's score, so the 4th and 5th spot at this moment in stage 3, doesn't seem that much, but I can tell you to gain like 100 or 200 points or marks in Firestrike is like requiring already like a lot of extra megahertz that you need to be able to push. It's really a benchmark that doesn't like applaud you like the older legacy benchmarks where you can easily gain like several thousands of points. Firestrike and 3D Mark 11 are benchmarks, in fact, that don't scale that much with extra added clock frequencies. So it's all about tiny margins, and yeah, maybe a good run from Extreme Addict can put him back, let's say, together with Hassan or even in front of or Hassan. But at the moment, it's all looking in favor of Lucky Noob. So maybe indeed, like we said before, just before the break, maybe this is Jonathan Alva's lucky moment, lucky final.
And what we can see on the screen now is Extreme Addict at the control of the system, where we have Nacho Ario in the background. And from what I understood, Nacho Ario says that there's no way for me I can reach any better score than what I have right now. So that's why he's actually going around talking with the guys and checking, like maybe giving them some tips that he did discover and did not work on his system or did not manage to achieve completely. So as you can see in the middle, that's Extreme Addict trying to be performing and maybe won this that third season of the HyperX OC takeover.
And indeed, it's like giving tips is no problem, but you still remember that, was it the Galaxy competition last year where somebody touched the keyboard of Hassan during the finals and he was disqualified for that? Was that last year or 2 years ago?
I think that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So indeed, you can talk to the competitors, you can give them tips, but as soon as the moment as you touch any of the components, or especially the keyboard or the mouse of the setup of another player, with him of course allowing you to do so, he will get disqualified from that moment on. So no turning back there.
So there's some very tight regulation and rule that are all enforced by H.O.T, and this is the governing body of the of the competition like this. As we can see right now, this is Dr. Wiz is eating up the graphic cards. We saw the temperature was usually like negative 130 degrees Celsius, and they have to sometimes go a little bit higher in the temperature to start again before going full out on it right after.
And we just got the word from Massman on the chat that Fugger also has a new score, so we're just waiting. If he's almost close to XA now at this moment. So imagine if Charles can even top XA score and even beat it, then yeah, XA is in a lot of problems. Just to claim, okay, he will be happy with second spot, but I think he will rather win than just take second best.
And especially knowing Extreme Addict's way of speaking and explaining things, he will say, it was okay, I did perform as I can, but I could not do better.
Yeah, I had like a small question on the Twitch channel as well, say fill in the blank. And probably we saw Pepinorang from MSI, so the French guy who worked for MSI HQ in Taiwan at this moment. And he was like talking to XA, and XA was like moving his head like and in his typical manner and waving his hands. And probably the word potato and stuff like that flew around. And that's indeed his expression for a bad CPU. It's a potato CPU, bad GPU, potato GPU, and a lot of swearing and cursing. Typical Polish style, in fact.
But that would be crazy to see. This is the last 12 minutes of these competitions of the HyperX OC takeover, and we will see in the next hour who will be able to win the $15,000 in the game for these competitions. So far, we have Dr. Wiz on top of his game at the stage 3. He did not perform as you would expect in stage 1 and 2, but is doing extremely great in this stage 3, closely followed by Lucky Noob, Gunslinger, Hassan, and Extreme Addict is being worried because he's actually in a 5th position, and it seems difficult for him to go beat the new score from Hassan that was put just a few minutes ago on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I didn't expect this to happen, to be honest. If I saw the ranking yesterday when we closed down day 1, I thought like, yeah, XA has it in the bag. And we also saw a post by the #1 South African overclocker, Vivi, at Facebook. And he said like, XA, don't kill your graphics card. You have it all covered, man. It's all there. Everything is looking happily and brightly in your direction. You will claim a 3rd overall win. But yeah, see what happened. This is overclocking in its finest. Everybody is trying as hard as possible to push the hardware that they have in their own way, with their own special pouring techniques, heating up the memory, clocking down, clocking up. trying driver settings, and yeah, it's really, really, really fun to see that it can go in all directions at this moment with just 11 minutes to go.
The big difference between Extreme Addict's core and Lucky Noob's core is they don't use the same techniques. As we said, the Lucky Noob is using a lower memory frequency but a higher GPU frequency, while Extreme Addict is stuck at the GPU frequency of 1670 megahertz, but is running the memory clock at 2050. So that means Lucky Noob's core is actually much more efficient than Extreme Addicts, and that explains why there is a lot of difference in between all of them. We had something new in the ranking. Nacho Arroyo jumped fourth with 17,760 points. So that means Extreme Addict is now in 6th place. Even Hassan is down 5th place just for that. What happened with this core?
I think that was the moment when Nacho Arroyo probably gave the final submission file and the screenshot to the judges, and he said, indeed, this is the max that I can get out of this card. I've tried maybe 10, 20, 30 times to get the card running higher. This is it. And indeed, he's like already disassembling the setup and probably removing the pot, trying everything up. But
anyway, there's less than 10 minutes left in this competition, so what you can see is there's no way for Nacho Arroyo that you can see right now on the screen to dry everything and remount, reset up the setup and reset up the system and make a new score. So that will be the last score for Nacho Arroyo at 17,760 points. So that is so far the 4th place for him, and it just pushed below Hassan and Extreme Addict. So that will make some huge damage on the ranking, as Hassan and Extreme Addict were the 2 winners of one of the stage yesterday, and they are now not even in the top 3 for that. That's gonna be, that is actually crazy to see that everything can happen in this competition. There's 9 minutes left, and we can see Lucky Noob being a bit worried or stressed, I would say.
Yeah, Alva feels that victory is so close, so near, but indeed it will only be over after all computers have shut down and the judges said, okay, this is it, it's over and done, we're through. But due to the let's say the new score of Nacho Arroyo, Extreme Addict is already like trailing 10 points now with Lucky Noob. It was only a few points before. Now with the scores or the new scores of the other overclockers, the gap is increasing. So XA will be really, really, really worried now at this moment.
That would be good to have the screen from below. Dr. Wiz that we can see right now on the screen is still at the top of his game, and I'm sure he would be very happy tonight to say, yes guys, I stay at the first spot for a very long time in this stage, and we wish him he could win this last stage for him to prove himself that he did perform as you would expect.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, it's so tight at this moment. Anything can happen, but for XA, indeed, if he can't, and apparently he can't clock his card any higher than he did before. He's really stuck at 17,400-ish points. Seems to be no way. Maybe he could have maybe swapped the card, I don't know. If that was allowed, if they had like spare cards. I know they had spare motherboards.
There is no spare card for the VGA. If you burn your VGA, this is out. You have to be pushing them to the max, but not too much for them to burn.
Yeah, but you see, XA is not giving up. That's not the way this guy rolls. He will fight till the final seconds. He's looking at the ranking and he's just, okay, he's in a solid 2nd position. There's no doubt about that. But to claim the overall win,
there's a new score from Hassan, and Hassan jumped 3rd place, putting a massive score of 17,836 points. So now Hassan is back in the game, even after Nacho Arroyo pushed him below. So that means Dr. Wiz, Lucky Noob, and Hassan right now are battling for the top. And there's these guys are all Dr. Wiz have a huge advance in upfront Lucky Noob, but Lucky Noob and Hassan, they are very close. They have about 60-point difference in the benchmark, and this could make a lot of difference between Hassan finishing on the top of his game here at the HyperX OC Takeover, or Lucky Noob ensuring that he can be a stable overclocker and still stack a first sport in his first overclocking competition. He could finish first in there.
Yeah, we only have 6 minutes to go, and I have to pull back the words that I said like half a minute ago. I said like XA was like in a comfortable second spot, but if you look at the overall ranking now with Hassan's new score, he's just 3 points behind XA at this moment. So if he can move up or improve his score a little bit more, he can maybe even push XA to third spot and claim second spot here. So really tight competition going on. Really, really, really fun to watch.
If you guys want to know more about overclocking, you can always follow this on here on Twitch, OverClocking-TV. You can find us as well on Facebook. This is the ranking for now. We have 5 minutes and 25 seconds left in the ranking. In this stage, Dr. Wiz is first by a good advance. It will be almost impossible in the last 5 minutes for someone to take over his score. Lucky Noob and Hassan, that you can see on the screen, Hassan in the foreground and Lucky Noob in the background, will be competing against each other to make sure that they secure their position in this last stage.
Yeah, and I think this could still happen. It's like you said, it takes only 1 or 2 minutes, and they only have to do the graphics score. They don't need to do a full run, so they can just pop out and show the graphics score, and that's enough. So they can maybe easily do 1 or 2 runs max. So it's all about doing it right now. XA will be under a lot of pressure now. I think maybe he might give in finally. It will be a rough ride to break or to gain like 200 or 300 points from his current state, the graphics card in.
So what we can see here is the screen on the right is the one from Lucky Noob, and he's actually second in the ranking, and he will try to improve his score. Not even beat. It's okay if he doesn't beat Dr. Wiz's score, but he wants to make a better score than the one he have to make sure that Hassan cannot get close to him or pass him even for after the score. So that's it. The benchmark is running at the moment, and we can see on the left side that is just the screen behind Lucky Noob. That's Dr. Wiz. He was actually starting to prepare to make a screenshot, so maybe he improved actually his score of 18,288 points. So we'll see what's going on. Restarting the system. So it is almost the end of this stage. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in here at the HyperX OC Takeover final of the season 3. Right now we have on the right side we had Hassan and Lucky Noob. We will like these 3 guys you can see on the top left of the screens are the guys in the top 3 of the stage. This is quite impressive. There's a lot of battle. We have Dr. Wiz first, Lucky Noob, Hassan, Gunslinger, Natural Hero, and 6 is Extreme Addict. Extreme Addict must be very pissed off now because he was in the top 3 most of the doing sometimes in this benchmark, but this is crazy.
Yeah, this is really crazy. This is totally unexpected. Oh, even though he improved his previous score, XA still needs at least 220 points to play again a part in the overall win. And I don't think it will happen. It's too bad. He is like the dedicated guy, but he still has to fear or secure his second spot at this moment. Hassan is trying another run, and if Hassan can move up 1 spot in the ranking, XA will be pushed down to third spot.
That's gonna be interesting to see the last few details. And as you can see, you have Lucky Noob right now that is pushing. There's 2 minutes left in this stage. The benchmark have to be launched before the end of the stage. That's the rule here at this event. If they launch the benchmark before the end of the timer, that means they can wait until the score appears, make the screenshot, and this will still be a valid score for the competition. So that's why we need to be very careful of these guys that will take every chance they can, even at the last second, to run the benchmark just to make sure they can maybe beat one of the score that they have. So this is very important for them to be focused. As we can see now, The run from Lucky Noob on the benchmark seems to be going well. The first test have been passed, now going into the second one. And that's
Yeah,
where
it was like a very smooth ride. If we look at the screen, of course, he's like monitoring everything, temperature, voltages, and it's like just trying to heat up the memory so it doesn't cold block probably. And yeah, maybe he can even secure everything and maybe just nail 18K on the GPU.
we will see what happens, and the benchmark usually takes a few minutes. So it seems like he seems to be very happy about what he's seeing. So we'll have to see if he wants to do a submission or if he will just try to rerun in the next 30 seconds of this HyperX OC Takeover Season 3 final here in the HyperX headquarters in California. So this is a few minutes left in this stage. This is getting very close. We have the two guys competing side by side. We have number 1 and number 2 of this stage. On the right side is Dr. Wiz, pretty confident about what he can do, and then is looking at Lucky Noob to see if he'll run the benchmark. Lucky Noob just launched the benchmark at the last seconds. This is now it. The guys have to finish the benchmark. If the benchmark was launched before the counter and it is okay, they can keep going. So this is the last thing for Lucky Noob, his last chance to win. Seems that's it. They did the thing crashed. So that means Dr. Wiz is probably to be on the top of his game for this stage. Lucky Noob did not finish his score and is talking with Pepino from MSI about what he was trying to do maybe, and they shake hands all together for that. You have to keep in mind that all the score here need to be completely validated by the judge. The judge here are Christian Ney and Massman. They are both from HWBot, the governing body about that. Dr. Wiz seems quite happy about his score.
Yeah.
So we'll just have the confirmation from Peter in the next few minutes if it's the final ranking.
Yeah, that's a good smile on Andrew's face, and he really deserved it. He's the only one that nailed to have a score above 18K, which is already impressive for DGPUs. Okay, you have to take into consideration there are a bit better scores on HWBot, but those guys, of course, are also running way higher clocks. So I think he maxed out his card pretty well. Good efficiency, and Lucky Noob, yeah, he's the number 1, unofficially, of course. He won, he nailed this, he dethroned XA. XA is no longer the king of HyperX OC Takeover.
We will have the complete final score in the next 15 minutes because all the judges have to go through all the screenshots there to make sure that all the validation is present. There's no missing information to make sure that everything is running. But these guys have been competing for the past 2 days in this HyperX OC Takeover competition, and these have been quite impressive on the score they got and the demonstration of skills that they actually showed for everyone. So far we have Dr. Wiz, Lucky Noob and Hassan on top of this stage. My dear Leagoft, we will have a complete debrief for you guys with you and the